Loretta, and this is an emo girl's guide to the galaxy where we debate, rant, and curse too much. If you like books, sarcasm, and hate the patriarchy, then you've obviously come to the right place.
Hey, I'm Erin, and I'm going to do our updates and new releases coming out in the book world. So these are all, let's see, May 17th, it looks like. So the first one is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. Inspired by stories from 1001 Nights, The Stardust Thief weaves the gripping tale of a legendary smuggler, a cowardly prince, and a dangerous quest across the desert to find a legendary magical lamp. First in the Sand Sea trilogy. And that just sounds like good fun.
Doesn't that sound so cute?
Okay, this next one I am so excited about. It's called Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. And a little blurb here we has is that Lily runs fake treasure hunts based on her absentee treasure hunter father's old map. So her father is a treasure hunter. He's got these old maps. She runs these treasure hunts. And then her ex shows up with his friends on a tour, and then they get like stuck in the canyons on like an actual treasure hunt. But one of the things that really got me was everyone saying like, oh, we have a new trope, people, not just one bed, only one sleeping bag, like in dangerous canyons.
One tent.
Not even just one bed, one sleeping
just
bag.
one sleeping bag out in the wilderness on a treasure hunt.
Quick question is, what happens to his friends?
I don't know. I didn't even know his friends were a part of this until I just
Are they all sharing a sleeping bag?
No, I don't know. Exactly. I think it's supposed to be like a dangerous, like action adventure treasure hunt book, but like with actual steamy romance. I don't know. I'm like all in.
When I was reading, because this little bit that you read is like me summarizing the thing because it was like so long. Yeah. So when I was reading the actual description instead of just like copy pasting out of Barnes and Noble, I was like stoked, and all of the reviews and stuff said that it's not like their normal books. Yeah. It's more action adventure romance than like a traditional rom-com.
Yes.
So
I'm like I'm so excited. I've already got this one pre-ordered. And knowing that there's steam in it, because sometimes with their books you don't always know.
Yeah. I was going to say, you did confirm
steam. I did confirm steam. Open door steam. Only one sleeping bag. So I'm like really...
Yes.
I'm excited. All right. So then next up we have All Fired Up by Dylan Newton. And the blurb here we have is, after one wild night together, two complete opposites plan to stay firmly in the friend zone. But life has other plans in this delightful romantic comedy, perfect for fans of Emily Henry and Abby Jimenez. I know that's not how you pronounce it.
Jimenez. Where's Dev?
That sounds so fun because that's all the things we like.
That sounds like a book that'll frustrate me, but in a good way, I guess.
But it also feels like something I've read before, but I'll do it again. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I love Emily Henry, and I haven't read anything by Abby Jimenez, but I did choose that Part of Your World book as my like book of the month for this month. So in, I don't know, 5-6 days when it comes in, I'll let you know how it is and if there are mermaids involved. We'll see.
We need to know. We need you to do this science. All right. The next one is The Emma Project by Sonali Dev. Our blurb here is, Emma gets a fresh Indian-American twist from award-winning author Sonali Dev in her heartwarmingly irresistible Jane Austen-inspired rom-com series. Okay, I thought it probably had to do with Jane Austen. That makes sense. But that's super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is From Bad to Curse by Lana Harper. And this is The Witches of Thistle Grove #2. And our blurb here is that Isadora gets stuck investigating a witch crime with a guy from a rival witch family. Another rom-com witchy book. I'm so into that.
It is.
Oh my God, Romeo and Juliette, but make them witches.
So the first one in this series is like a love quadrangle, because the two, I think the love interests that end up together are the two women, but they're dating these other two men who are exes, and the guys like each other. It's like a whole mess, and it's witchy. So
wait, what book is this?
That's like, we need more information.
I need this.
So, other fun fact that I figured out, Lana Harper is a pseudonym for, or it's her real name, I don't know, but for Lana Popovic, who does YA books. She did Blood Countess and like Wicked Like a Wildfire, that really pretty flowery one that everybody sees all over the place. Yeah. I haven't read them. I read Blood Countess and I enjoyed it, but it was dark. But yeah, so I want to read these. I need to read the first one because now once I figured out that it was her, I was like, what? She's just like over here writing adult novels that I didn't know about in another name.
That first one sounds really chaotic, but the second one sounds awesome, so I'll do both. I'll do
For all of it, yeah.
I mean, a witchy rom-com, that's just...
And from what I can tell, there's like 2 rival families in this town that are like rival witch families, and there's like gotta be some Romeo Juliet situation happening here. Yeah, I'm stoked.
I'm for it.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go around the room and do our weekly updates. Erin, what you got going on?
Okay, so speaking of witchy rom-com, I finally finished the second book of the Stay a Spell series, the Don't Hex and Drive. And I can confirm, I think maybe Jess had said this in a previous episode, but like the steam does increase significantly. The first book is definitely steamy, but then the second book, you're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
I was shocked.
The only reason it took me a while to read it is because I was like traveling and just like life was getting in the way, not because I wasn't enjoying it. But yeah, it was really cute. I mean, there's like some cheesy parts that you can definitely like criticize, but you kind of know what you're getting into. I mean, we'll explain what you're getting into, but it's like literally rom-com and fantasy together. It's such a interesting combination because sometimes you're like, wow, we're firmly in a fantasy, and other times you're like, this could just be regular people in a rom-com. But it's super fun. I enjoyed it. I'm already ready and excited to read the next one because I was been looking forward to this couple since the first book. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Oh, and I got book mail. Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and then Book of Night by Holly Black. So I haven't read them yet, but they came in finally, and they are so pretty. I am very excited to own them.
Okay, Loretta, what you up to?
Since our Bridgerton episode, I've like temporarily lost my mind. I'm happy about it because I've been in a non-reading mood for like a year. But I'm like, I finished Colin's book, and then in the Bridgerton series, which is the 4th book, and I've been binging the hell out of the rest of them, and I made it to Francesca's, which is the 6th book.
Yeah.
So I've read Eloise's and Francesca's, and I love them so much, so I'm going to keep going, but that's all I've really been doing. Eloise's book was amazing, and Francesca pissed me off, but
yeah,
it was still really good.
Yeah. So I just finished Book Lovers yesterday.
You binged that hard.
You did.
Now I binged it, in a day and a half, I want to say. It felt like it was taking longer to read than I anticipated. But it's like super about sisters, and that hits hard with me considering it's me and my sister. Like the characters reminded me of us, just like a little flip-flopped and different. So like, I don't know, I really bonded into that book. And then there's like just fun Easter eggs and stuff. So I think you're really gonna love it. And then I've been watching, Dev's not here for this, but I've been watching these videos on YouTube, and I feel like I should have known that this guy existed, but I didn't. I guess he started his channel like in 2020. So his name is Mr. Ballin. He's an ex-Navy SEAL, I think. And he does like horror videos, but they're real stories of like 3 places you literally can't go on the planet, and here's why, and here's the people that died there. And like deep sea dives, he finds all these stories about like people who like went diving and got stuck in caves underwater. And it's like real life crazy weird things that have happened, and like random people who like went to an island they weren't supposed to go to and then like never turned up again. And like, but he has so many little facts, and he's just like a really soothing storyteller that I was just like watching it, and I'm just like, what is happening? And so he does some like true crime things, but then also just like these really wild ass stories about like, yeah, you can't fly in and out of here during these seasons, and this is what happened to this person. Kind of like a lot of the into the wild type stories that you would think of, where people just like, oh no, I can do it, don't worry, and then later they like find their flippers floating or something.
This is why I don't go into the wild.
Well, but like, it's not even just that. Like, one person went to Snake Island. One guy went to pick apples and got eaten by a Komodo dragon.
Oh,
like, this is so wild. I watched so many of these videos.
It sounds like an anxiety, like a way to give myself anxiety.
Oh, I watched them right before bed.
Just like, this is so soothing, and Loretta and I are like, what?
I feel like Dev would be on my page about this. She'd be like, what? Crazy stories? But these are true. These are not fake. And I like the true ones. I'm like, this is the weirdest stuff that can happen in our world. Or like whales this is my last thing and then I will move on. But like, they found whales with chunks taken out of them because the whales had dove down with their trackers on. And then when they found the whale, they were dead on the beach with like a giant chunk taken out of them. So whatever was down in that trench, in that part of the ocean that we haven't mapped, took a giant bite out of like a humpback whale.
Ew.
No problem. And I'm like, what's down there?
The deep ocean freaks my shit out.
Freaks me out so bad.
We just don't have any. We only know like what 10% of our ocean.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I'm like weirdly fascinated and horrified at the same time. I don't know.
Well, that's it. Like I'm sitting here watching and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But
What's
also
down
just like,
there?
this is so interesting. And I'm so glad that, and he's got like just like this soothing demeanor, and it feels like you're just getting a story told to you, but it's real. So yeah, it's wild.
Fun.
Yep, that's what I've been up to. I watched a lot of those videos. It's Mr. Ballen, Ballen on YouTube, and I think he has some TikTok stuff. That's how I found him. Like I saw TikTok and I was like, oh, I gotta go find this guy. I want to watch these videos. So
I feel like we should say that Dev is not here.
yeah, Dev is not here.
That's what's up with her. She's gone.
She's hanging out with Steph.
She is living her best life, LA life,
She is.
doing all the LA stuff. She got a tattoo.
Going to Disney and going to bookstores. She got a tattoo.
Yeah, everybody go look at her page, see what she's been up to.
I know. Going to all the cool bookstores.
Go to Dev's Instagram, read by Dev, and you will see
all of her adventures.
That bookstore is so cute. I'm very jealous. I want to be
I
there.
know.
It's like a jungle, but a bookstore.
It's so cozy. But it's time to talk about our main topic today, which is rom-coms. And I was shocked when I was like, what books have I read that are rom-coms? And I was looking through my Goodreads and like none of them are. So I don't know how that happened, but
that's like when we did the Shifter episode, and I was like, I swear I've read Shifter books, and there's like, here's two.
I know, but all of the romance books I read have something like about them, like someone turns into a wolf, or they're vampire hunters, or I don't know. So this is all on you guys this episode. I can contribute the hating game, which I loved.
Classic. That's a classic.
The Hating Game's a good spot to start. They've turned it into a movie. Also, I'm obsessed with all of Sally Thorne's books. But like, why do we love rom-coms, I guess is what I kind of want to start with. Is like, for me, rom-com books are like a palate cleanser, but then also just like super comforting. And I feel like they flash me back to like 90s sitcoms as a child or something, where like they're that kind of vibe, and all those movies came out, and like Friends was on TV, and is it all great? And like maybe not it's super problematic sometimes, all those things, but like there's that like nostalgia vibe for me from rom-coms.
Totally.
That it's like, I know this is gonna end well, I know it's gonna make me laugh, it might make me cry, but like I'm just gonna have good feelings by the end of it almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a super comforting thing. And I don't know, back to why do women like romance? And it's because we just literally need something nice and happy in our lives.
I know.
Yeah, a guaranteed happy ending is super ideal. Just like women enjoying life. I like to read that. It's really nice.
Powerful. Sometimes they're like the boss. A lot of times, you know, or they have a good job, or
yeah,
maybe they're a mess.
So when I read, I like am the type of person that like, it's kind of bad, but I just like skim over the like descriptions of the people. So literally the main character a lot of times like is just me. And so I'm just like first player in these books, right? So it's like almost like virtual reality. I can just like pop in and just like have a little romance. You get to experience those feelings of like, oh my god, like I'm meeting the person and we're flirting and it's so cute and fun, without like actually ruining your marriage and destroying your life. To have that feeling, right, of like falling in love, and
right.
the excitement and the funniness and like the swoony moments, and
Mm-hmm.
it all ends happy ever after without having any of the like hard parts of like life and relationships. I mean, usually if a really good book is going to have like realistic conflict, but it's not going to end on like, and then he didn't do the dishes. I was so mad. Like in the nitty gritty of it, it's more just like, and then he was the most perfect partner and they were just so happy at the end. And it's just such a nice, just like, escape. It's like literally doing a little virtual reality for me, at least, to just kind of like, I'm just going to pop in here where everything's great. And you know the conflict's going to get resolved and it's all going to be good and stakes are not that high.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I kind of do that too.
Like they're palate cleansers to me, and like if you've read a heavy fantasy or you've read like anything super emotional, it's so nice to just like still get to read because you love reading, but also have something that you know is going to be good and funny and entertaining.
Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. And just kind of like an escape from reading when reading can get hard.
Yeah, because you know, like in a rom-com, like it's very unlikely anybody's gonna die or have a near-death experience or like there's like gonna be a battle or like half the crew is injured. Like nobody's getting hurt like that. It's more just like, you didn't tell me about your secret past, but I love you. Fine. Like, I don't know.
And then he gets a tattoo for her.
Yeah. He's out there with the boombox at the window.
Oh, say anything.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Like, I was talking to someone recently about, actually my sister's fiance. I was just out in LA visiting them, and it's just about like the books we read and stuff. And I think like he kind of gets like why people be like, why do you just only read romance or mostly read? I mean, we're talking about rom-coms here, and we palate cleanse, but most stuff that we read has like some romance in it, and we tend we tend to stick to pretty specific genres that we read, and it's like,
I need romance.
He's like, it's so formulaic. Like, I get why people be like, why do you just read it? It's like the same thing. But at the same time, it's like anyone who reads in any genre, like you're getting formulaic stuff. Like, some of the real standout things will be the things that like, wow, this has got a real creative difference. But in a general sense, like if you like thrillers, you're getting the same thing. Like if you like rom-coms, you're getting the same thing. If you like horror, like things are going to be a little bit different, but it's fun just seeing the different executions of a formula. We pick it up because we know we like that formula, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, it's our lives, and we get to consume the content that we want, and this is what we want.
It's all about like what you vibe with and what you want to experience yourself. And
yeah, if you like your rom-coms to also have them turn into wolves, like that's your jam, man. Like, but it's still the formula, and we like it. And I will say, like,
exactly,
just because it's going to be the same formula, like I've definitely read some of the stuff that's like trash, and you're like, that was not good for me. And it was like, sure, the formula was all there, but they just didn't hit the mark, right? So it's like going through it to find the stuff that actually is good, like, takes time. So
like, and I can tell a significant difference with some of these authors. Like, there are authors that I've read one of their rom-coms, and I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to trash anybody, but like I read it and I was like, wow, that was lackluster, and I'm just not going to get anything from that author again, because I know that was and I hate to judge on one book and one experience, but like that was lackluster, and there's just so many out there. Okay, well, like, so Emily Henry, I'm obsessed with her books because they're just so fun and good. And yeah, it's a formula, but I love it. It's a good formula. Same with a lot of my authors.
I put her on a higher tier, one, because it's just amazing. She's an auto buy for me. But
there's more dimension.
There is more dimension to her. So it's like, yes, there is a formula, but it's just the stakes are a little bit higher and different. I feel like there is just more depth to these characters, and I'm not saying like ones that don't have that aren't good. It's just like, some of them I would say are fluffier versus there's some that you read and you're like, wow, even people who maybe don't always, like, they're not always in this genre could probably really still appreciate this book because of how just more well-rounded I feel like it is. So, like, again, like, I think there's a spectrum. You're going to get some you pick up and you're just like, what the hell was that? Like, that was mostly just erotica and like some weird stuff. And then you got like the like kind of right in the middle of the bell curve of like, that was a perfect, nice, fluffy, cheesy romance. And then I think you're just going to have sort of on the upper end, you're going to have other things that are more depth and dimension and different stuff, where I would put Emily Henry stuff.
Yeah, I would put Helen Hoang, who wrote, I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. I should have looked up the pronunciation. That wrote Kiss Quotient and Bride Test and The Heart Principle.
Yeah, I've been wanting to read those.
Those I would put near the same category, like in the same category of depth as Emily Henry. Her characters have a lot of dimension. I think the Kiss Quotient, it's beloved for a reason. It's really good, but it also is not as in-depth as like once you get to The Heart Principle. Like, that one is so deep that it's like, I'm not even sure it's a rom-com anymore. Like, it's just, there's so much they're dealing with, and it's so much character, but there's just a really sweet love there, and you're just very attached to the characters especially because the guy you met in the first book. And so like you've seen him throughout and he's dealt with some stuff. And so like but those characters, I would say if you're looking for somebody with more depth as far as a rom-com goes, I would go with her books, because if you haven't already read Kiss Quotient, probably everybody has. But
well, and those are great. I have the second two, and I just haven't picked them up yet. But
the Bright Test, I think, was my favorite.
Well, and Kiss Quotient, I think, like I said, I'm not going to make too much assumptions about the second two, but like there's great representation in that one. She has autism.
Oh yeah, I know there's great representation in all
Asian
of them.
MC, and I mean that's just awesome. Like having not the typical just two white people falling in love, and they're just regular Joe and Jane, cis white people.
No, that's the case with all of her books. There's no like just straight white people in her books, or at least as the main characters.
Plus, I had never before. I want to say that's one of the few books I've read with like an autistic character, and just like in that way as like an adult woman. And the author, she explains later, I think, like in her, like after the end of the book, like that she was diagnosed late in life with autism, and kind of based some of the things in the book around her experience. I just think that's so like cool. Like,
yeah.
And the second book is about the autistic brother that the girl gets along with. So it's about him.
Yeah.
And his person is a single mom who's had to leave her child overseas, and so it's a whole thing, but it's real and it's like stuff that people really are dealing with, so it's crazy.
See, and I think you're right, like, so on that spectrum of like we just have the light fluffy like boy next door or whatever, and they like to touch their bodies together, versus kind of on the other side of things with like with Emily Henry and Ellen Hoang. I really wish I knew how to pronounce that better, but
I know I should have looked that up.
Yeah, those are awesome. Where would we put? So okay, Loretta, you have a lot of rom-coms. You said The Hating Game.
Yeah,
I feel like where would we put Sally Thorne on our bell curve now?
So I would put her towards a fluffier.
Yeah, there wasn't like a whole lot of depth of emotion or anything in that.
Yeah,
but
I feel like she's probably more like smack in the middle for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because her other two books, at least 99% Mine, that had a lot of personal growth and stuff going on. I can see your face. You didn't like it. I loved it.
That was so weird to me.
She was awful, and I loved how awful she was.
I think the thing that bothered me the most was the brother, and then like their relationship was so weird, and then like how it wrapped up at the end.
That was.
I just kept being like, there's gonna be like a twist that he's like a murderer or something. I don't know. Like his character just gave me the heebie-jeebies, and then it was just like, oh, he's just a guy. I don't know. I thought something was weird there. But also, we're reading a rom-com, so he wouldn't just like suddenly be like, yeah, I'm a murderer at the end, or we're reading a different genre. But in general, like I still read it in like 8 hours in one sitting, and then
if we're talking about like a scale of like emotional rom-com-y depth, the one other series I wanted to mention was the Winston Brothers, which is like way fluffy. It's like the complete opposite end. It's like completely lighthearted. And
which brothers? I missed what you said.
It's the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reid.
Oh yeah, and I have those on my TBR. Yeah.
They're so cute.
Okay, see, you've read some rom-coms. They don't turn into wolves.
Yes.
They're not vampire hunters.
That's really all I got. I got the Winston Brothers and I got the Hating Game.
They're cute, so tell us about that one. That's fluffy.
It's super cute. Jess recommended it to me, and it's a spin-off of another series Penny Reid wrote called Knitting in the City.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's a book in the middle of that series called Beauty and the Mustache, and that's the start of the Winston Brothers. And it's these, is it five? How many brothers are there?
6?
Those are the ones that's like all about beards and stuff, right? There's like a beard one.
Yeah, I think there's 6
I'm pulling it up.
kids. The twins,
The Ranger,
the older one,
the vet,
the other older one.
5. And then there's a sister. So book 1 is about the sister.
Oh, wait, it's called Truth or Beard.
That's the first one. Okay, so technically the first one is called Beauty and the Mustache.
Oh, yeah, because it's part of the Knitting in the City, and then it jumps into the
That's really the first book, and I feel like you should all read that first, because it helps set everything up.
It says that there's like 7 of these. 7 or 8.
One brother has 2 books. Does he?
Does he?
I don't know, I'm confused.
Oh, yeah, he does. Knitting in the City starts, and Knitting in the City is like this group of friends who have a knitting club in Chicago. and it goes around, each one of them meets their dude, right? So when it gets to Ashley, she has to go back home in her book, and then you see her brothers.
Mhm.
And that's when everybody got obsessed with the Winston brothers and her big chaotic family.
Because they're amazing.
So her book is technically The Knitting in the City,
Yes.
but it's like coded the same way the Winstons are, because you really do need it. It's got a lot of background.
Yeah, on Goodreads it's listed as Knitting in the City number 4, but then Winston Brothers number 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to read these titles for our listeners because they are beautiful.
They're amazing, yeah.
So like we said about the Knitting in the City one, the first one that goes into the Winston Brothers is Beauty and the Mustache. Then it's Truth or Beard, Grin and Beard It, Beard Science,
That's my favorite one.
Beard in Waiting, Beard in Mind, Beard in Hiding, Dr. Strange Beard, Beard with Me, Beard Necessities. And then there's a beardy bonus with bonus deleted scenes.
I whipped through the first 4 or 5 of those books, and they were amazing. And then I took a break, and I never finished the series. I stopped at the brother who's a vet, a veterinarian.
That sounds like you.
I know you're all
I
shocked.
took a break and then never returned.
But I really want to. I'm also kind of scared because Jess said the last 2 are really emotional, and I'm like scared of them.
Well, the very last one's okay, but the one before that, she even put a disclaimer out. So yeah, Billy has 2 books because he's like the long running, where everybody's like, obviously you two belong together throughout
They
all
build
the
it up
books,
the entire
but like
series.
they're really arguing with each other all the time
Mhm.
and like get engaged to different people and all sorts of stuff as the books progress. And you're like, no, this is stupid. When is their book? So she did a prequel book for their story that was like from the past. And so it's not very long, but it's what happened that you were never told about, why they're so mad at each other in the present. So it's the backstory. But she even said, this has a lot of triggers. This has a lot of chaos. Because like the girl's dad is like some crazy biker gang leader. It's a mess.
Wow.
Yeah, there's biker gangs involved. It's wild.
All right, I'm picking these up.
You need to.
But because of that, so this backstory, it's not a rom-com. That one is very emotional and dark. And Penny Reid said, if you can't handle these trigger warnings, literally you don't have to read this to get the last book. You can just skip to the last book and read theirs. You don't have to read this. It's rough. So, but she did give it to, I read it, of course, because I like emotional trauma. So, yeah.
I really want to.
It was interesting, but it is set in the past and it's I want to say it's cute, but it's not cute. It's pretty
And
rough.
I'm very excited because I don't really know a lot about them, but my favorite book is Beard or Science. The brother, he's like super nerd, and he gets together with this cute like baker. I don't know, she's adorable.
Like,
They're adorable together.
Devious.
Yeah.
He's not a nerd. He is maniacal, psychotic, lovely man.
Like nerdy maniacal.
He acts like a simpleton, but he is
not.
running the show behind. And like,
But there's a spin-off series or like duology or something, and it's him and the girl he gets with, and they're like solving murders or something, and I really want to read it.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't read that. That sounds great.
BookBub was like, Penny Reid is one of your followed authors, and she just released this, and I read the summary, and I was like, what?
Is his name Cletus?
Cletus.
I think his name is Cletus.
It's Cletus and what's her face, and they like solve a murder or something, and I was
One of
like,
their
what?
names is Jethro. Oh no, it's like Dwayne and Bo and Jethro and William, but their mom was a reader, so all of their middle names are like books. So
Yeah.
like Beauregard Fitzgerald, and then like
Cletus. Did you guys ever watch all that?
Yes.
Okay, so you know that Kel's one character, or it's like Keenan and Kel's like one skit, and he's always like, Cletus! Right?
Yes.
That's all I think of when I hear that name.
it's ridiculous. But those are fluffy as hell.
Yeah, they're so great. Definitely on the fluffy end of the scale that we were talking about.
For sure.
That's so fun, though. I feel like all of it's great. I just feel like sometimes the fluffier ones, they're more forgettable, you know? Like, more of that palate cleanser of just like, I just need to eat this delicious meal, bloop, then I forget about it, versus like some other ones that you're like, I would go back and reread that kind of a book.
Yeah. And I feel the way about those. I've reread them and reread Knitting in the City a lot of times, like, because they're just comforting to me.
Yeah.
And all of those characters all of the Knitting in the City characters make cameos in the beard books throughout.
Yeah.
Like, so it's fun.
They come for visits and stuff. It's cute.
Yeah, they come for visits, and so you get to see the characters again. Deb would freak out. She'd be like, "Give it to me now," because it ends up being like almost 20 books or something that you've got all of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun, and there's a lot of sass. They're entertaining. There's car racing and
Oh yeah.
biker gang drama and all sorts of stuff.
I was gonna say I just had to for my kids. Well, I didn't have to, but they were doing like a fundraiser for my kids, like preschool, and we all had to we didn't all have to, but some of us were asked to contribute something for a silent auction, and it was like there was like a sign up of like ideas, and one was like a summer reading book like basket, and I was like, I'm absolutely gonna do that. But then it was so hard for me because I was like, I don't know, like there's a bazillion books out there, like, and then I'm like, I don't know who's gonna be there like wanting to buy this basket. Like I was so back and forth, like, do I want to just make this like one genre of books or like a million different types of genre, like, and then I was like, I wanted like one, if I was gonna do for different genres, I wanted almost like one from every one, but then I didn't want it to all just be like white authors, and then I was getting like so in my head about it, and then I was like, I think I just need to stick to what I know, and this is going to be a summer romance reading basket. So then I could just like actually feel like I've read most of these and like get a good selection of different authors who are not all white, and feel like confident that like I love all these books. Hopefully somebody else will. So I'm really hoping somebody's excited to buy this basket.
What did you end up putting in it?
I put in The Hating Game. I put in Kiss Quotient. I put in Beach Read by Emily Henry. Then I put in You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. And then I put in the first Brown sister book, Get a Life, Chloe Brown.
I wanted to read that. I have it.
And then I put in Red, White, and Royal Blue. Why was that hard for me to say? Red, White, and Royal Blue.
I want to read that too. I heard it's so good.
Oh, what's the author? Casey
McQuiston?
Yes.
Winston?
And then I haven't read that one, and I haven't read the Brown sister book yet, but I figured that was like a nice mix of kind of like different ethnicities and not all straight romances, and it's not all super fluffy, but some of it, I don't know, I felt like that was like a good mix.
No, I like that mixture. That's a really good mixture.
So I'm like really hoping someone appreciates it and buys it.
All of those books that I have read, I am a fan of. I have not read Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yeah, so I was like looking at reviews. I mean, most people like love it, but then I was looking at, I always like go to the 1 stars just to see like what do people not like about it.
I do that too.
And some people said it was like a little, like the politics piece was a little heavy, like too much. They felt like it's a pretty thick book. They're like, it did not need to be this long.
It's pretty long.
Compared to all the other books in the basket, like this one is longer.
Oh, wow.
But I think because the author was writing it, she had, been planning it, and then I think it was like coinciding around like one of the like elections, Trump and stuff, and then she was just like, I just couldn't not like infuse feelings about that.
I had to rant in here.
Yeah, so I think there's a little bit of that in there, but that doesn't totally sway me from being interested in it. So like if everyone loves it and thinks it's like an adorable romance, then I'm here for it.
Now that summer's coming, I'm starting to get in the mood to read all those kinds of books, so I'm ready.
So we were talking about Christina Lauren's new book coming out and how it's different. So let's have a quick chat about Christina Lauren. Also, fun fact, if you didn't know that, it's 2 people, Christina and Lauren, who are friends.
Shut up, really?
And write books together. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
They are a duo of friends.
It makes me want to do that. Like, that sounds so much fun.
I know. Let's write a book.
Let's write a book, guys.
I was going to ask you guys about Christina Lauren because I feel like I see her all over the place. And then, like, sometimes people are, like, all over her books. Like, I'm obsessed. They're amazing. And then, I don't know, sometimes I feel like people aren't. So I was going to, like, do you have recommendations for me from her that I should read? Or
100% Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. That's the best one.
That's the only one of hers I've read. I've read so far. I think I maybe have one other downloaded that I haven't started yet. But for me, I'm just like a spice whore. Like, I want it to be sexy. I want open door romance. Yeah. And with their books, it's not hit or
always.
Miss?
Yeah,
is my understanding. And I'm sure because they are talented writers that they're all great regardless, and they probably write it in the way I stalked their Instagram to get like a sense of some of this, and they were doing like a Q&A where it like came up. I think what their thing is, it's like they try to just be like organic to the story, where like if they feel like it needs it, then it's open door, but if they're like it just doesn't, then we don't, and they kind of just like base it off of what's going on. But they have such a wide audience that some of their like most loved books are the ones that are closed door, so I think they feel hesitant probably also to like then just have them all be open door if that's not what everyone is looking for.
See, I find it interesting because their books started off with the Beautiful Bastard
Which
series,
is all open door.
which is not rom-com, and it is very open door sex in a stairwell situation.
Oh.
Literally sex in a stairwell.
Love it.
Why does that make you want to
Sex
read
in
it
a
more?
closet, in a try-on closet at a store.
Wow.
I think these are both in the first book. Like, and it's very open door. And they're very smutty. And there's a second series after that. I've read all of those, and they are bully romance, the first series, a little bit. The Beautiful Bastard's definitely a bully. He's her boss. It's, you know, but the second set that comes after that is really fun. And I just really enjoyed all of those books. I like all of them. There's one where there's like a super nerd boy and he works in the comic book store and she is literally a comic book, like, or a graphic novelist. And that's her job.
Oh my God, I love that.
It's so fun. And I think he is Scottish. So there's that too. Or Australian. Maybe he's Australian. I don't know. So they have really smutty books that they started out with. And I was like reading their books as they went through. And it's only in the last few years that their books have even had closed doors.
Okay.
So I find it interesting because when I think it was The Unhoneymooners came out and it was closed door, I was shocked. Because I have never read one of their books that was closed door.
Yeah, and that one's hugely popular.
Yeah, I see that all over.
I haven't read it because it's closed door.
Yeah.
And I need some spice in my life. But I was confused because all of their books I had read up until that point were all open door. And I was like, wait, I don't get
What's
it.
happening? Or what's not happening?
Yeah, what's not happening?
Josh and Hazel is so underrated. I will stand by that forever. It is one of the best rom-coms I've ever read.
There are moments in that book that like literally give me chills. Like, and actual butterflies in my stomach. Like, it's so good. Hazel, the character, is very, like, manic pixie dream girl.
She is.
And, like, that can be annoying.
She, like, casually has a goat in her apartment.
I love that.
She adopts all animals. She's got, like, a jungle.
Oh my God, I love it already.
She's just like, I'm crazy, bah! Like, very, like, quirky to, like, the highest level. But it works, like, because the guy is more level and... just, like, their interactions are really cute and fun. And, yeah, I'm obsessed with that book. I recently sent a care package to a friend, and I just, like, put a bunch of rom-coms in it, and that was one that I was like, here you go. I contemplated that one for the fundraiser one that I'm doing, but I had too many already
I've
in there.
gotten a couple of their books on sale from BookBub, and I think I have, like, The Soulmate Equation or something.
Yeah, I grabbed that one. That's their newest one, but I think that one is closed door as well. But I don't know. They're, like... people love their books, so I'm like, I should just read them, even though they are closed doors. So I have
another one, and I can't remember what it is.
I feel like I need to read The Unhoneymooners just because it's so popular.
There's another one that I haven't been able to confirm if it's closed or open door, but it's something about like second night stand or something night stand. I don't know. Which I'm like, if you're talking about like some version of a one night stand, you'd think that there would be smut in it.
Yeah.
Now I have to look it up.
I love that we're over here like, there's no smut. I'm not interested.
Is that so bad?
Where's the sex?
I gotta make it smutty.
If someone I trust, their recommendation is like, read it, it doesn't matter, then like, it doesn't matter. But if I don't know that it doesn't matter, then I can't always jump in.
I'm with you.
My favorite half night stand. I have that one.
My favorite half night stand.
Okay.
That's what it is. But I'm like, that is implying something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't picked that one up yet.
If it's a half night stand, did you leave before morning? Is that how that
I
works?
don't know.
Or it's half night because they shut the door in our face. They wouldn't let us see what happened.
Closed door, you better get out of here. Like on The Bachelor when they shut the door to kick you out at the end and the cameraman's getting kicked out. Or like on every drama show.
It just says they secretly spend the sexiest half night of their lives together. But then they decide that it would be better to stay platonic. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't appreciate it though.
All right, for science, one of us has to read this.
I own it, so I'll read it at some point.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
There you go.
For science.
For science. Yeah, but so Josh and Hazel, I mean, that one is just, it's so good. And then you have on here the Simple Wild. I own that in a physical, and I started it, and I think I was just like not in the right mindset, but like the prologue like fucked me up.
Mm-hmm. So that's on par with Emily Henry, if not a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Like I almost didn't put it on because I was like, is this a rom-com? It may not be a rom-com. There's a lot of really funny moments, but it's definitely towing the line
like
of
a dramatic romance or something.
Well, but I don't want to call it dramatic.
Yeah.
But there are definitely moments that are dramatic, but it's more about her. Like, she's a city girl and she has to go see her dad, who she hasn't spoken to in years in very rural Alaska. And so she has all these like ridiculous run-ins with this like bush pilot, who's kind of an asshole, but then like a really hot bearded asshole. And like they start playing pranks on each other. Like, I think she shaves his beard or cuts part of it while he's asleep or something. Yeah, they do some stupid pranks and stuff. So like that's why I think it's like rom-com-y, but there's also a really sad part to why she's there.
The prologue is literally her mom with her as like a little kid, like a baby, I think, and just being like piecing out on her dad. Like, I cannot live in Alaska.
Right.
I'm so depressed here. We're not in love anymore. It's not worth it. And then she takes his daughter. Like, she leaves. And then that's the whole thing. Like, the daughter comes back. Like, I don't have a great relationship with my dad because we didn't live in Alaska. And then her whole thing is like, my mom could never live here. I can never live here. And then, like, obviously she
falls in love with a guy and ends up in the same situation.
So it's like repeating the cycle of like, your mom left because she couldn't be in Alaska with your dad, and that's like awful. And now you're just gonna like set yourself up for the same sad story.
Yeah,
I don't know. I had to put it down. I was like, I'll come back to this later.
There's 3 of them, and I have not read the second 2, which is a shame because I really love that first book, and I have like had like a lot of people read it, but I haven't read the other 2. So and I own them, but I don't know what's wrong with me. But so you get through the first book and it was really good as a standalone. I haven't read the other 2, so I don't know. But my guess is it's about how they try to move forward with their lives. And so I don't know if it's really rom-com or not. It's kind of serious, but
yeah,
there's a prank war that is highly entertaining. So
it seems rom-com-y.
Yeah.
That's right. So I think it toes the line of like where an Emily Henry would, where it's dealing with heavier subjects and a lot of personal growth and questioning. But
yeah, I feel like the Premise of Power, though, I've only read the first one, but that one's like right in the middle. I'd put with like kind of like Hating Game, and I wouldn't say it's like the most. There's some stuff that like super fluffy or just super smutty that I would put like on the other end of the spectrum of like, you're just getting in there for the fluff or the smut. I feel like that one was like more just like a solid right in the middle fun one.
No, it's like your ideal rom-com.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
But it's always fun because of the telenovela drama, and you're like, what?
That was really fun. So the first one is called You Had Me at Hola, and it's super fun because they are telenovela stars. So during the book,
I love that.
You're getting like they write the scene out as if you're like watching or like
it's like Jane the Virgin,
the telenovela. Yeah, so you're getting the story of the characters, but then you're also getting the story of the telenovela that they're doing, and then obviously there's parallels in the story. And it's super fun, and especially because, like, obviously there's, like, all the sexual tension that's happening for them, but then also for their telenovela characters. So then they're, like, having all these off-screen moments, but then on-screen they're, like, up on each other's faces and, like, practicing, like, these kiss scenes.
It's great.
Yeah, it was really cool. I thought that was really well done. I liked that element a lot. Like, you're kind of getting, like, 2 stories in one. Yeah, I really like that. I just actually read a description for a book. Maybe it was, like, on my book Bub email about something that was like similar, where it's like a romance writer. So you're getting like the romance that she's writing, but then you're also getting her story. And now I feel like I have to look up what it is. The Talk Bookish to Me by Kate Bromley. Have you guys seen this or heard of this?
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't know Open Door, Closed Door or much about it, but one of the reviews, someone was like saying that was a really cool piece of it. She's a romance novelist with writer's block and an impending deadline. Then her first love shows up unexpectedly and gives her the inspiration she needs to finish the book. Fun and sexy romp, says somebody else. Somebody says that. Jennifer Probst. I don't know who
those
that is.
Those are tropes I love.
I like all those things. So I was like, I might have to look into that book. And then the one review made it sound cool because I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like what I liked about from You Had Me at Hola.
Yeah, that was a good like middle ground situation. You're right.
Yeah.
So one last little, I will say this is kind of fluffy. One of my favorites that I've got up like talk about because I just love it so much is the Liars Inc. series by Rachel Van Dyken. And it's only 2 books.
I read those.
And it's so cute. Yeah. And they're so funny. There's like chickens running. I don't know. The opening of the first one starts with like her climbing through a sewer grate because it's about these two friends who have been like wronged by men or had bad experiences, and they start a detective agency, and they're like private detectives for women who are getting cheated on.
Oh my God, I
or
love
men
that.
who are getting cheated on. And so they go and investigate, and like sometimes they flirt with the guy to see how he reacts or whatever, and they get it on film, and you know, like they can show their client whatever it is. And so one of their clients ends up being like in the first book, the wife of like football star or something. And he is the ex or the one that got away from one of the girls who's the private detective. And so she's like, I don't know if I can do this. And then he's got this crazy tattooed man bun bartender friend. And yeah, they're hilarious. They're so much fun. Both of them. They're really good books.
And the chickens is like one of their like moms once they get together. Like, this is like our tradition.
Yeah.
And like gives them like a crazy giant bed and like chickens or something. Like in their bedroom.
Yeah, the second girl, it's something about getting married and their culture. And is it her grandma or her mom? I don't know. And I do not know how accurate any of that is. It could be absolutely ridiculous. It could be problematic. I don't know. But there's something funny about chickens running loose in the house. And because the grandma is just like this super eccentric, crazy old lady, but like with tons of energy. And she's so much
fun. And she's trying to like bless their union by like, here's chickens or something.
Yeah, it's this whole deal.
Yeah, that one's a fun one. I read that a while ago. I kind of forgot about it, but it's good.
They're very fluffy and cute, but they're fun.
Okay, I feel like we have to mention Smut Miss.
Smut Miss.
Yes.
Smut Miss.
Smut Miss. I'm so excited for this year's Smut Miss.
Last year, I fell off the bandwagon a little bit, but...
I did good last year.
I read that Talia Hibbert book that's Christmas themed, Merry Inkmas.
Yes.
It was so cute, and that's kind of rom-com-y, but it's a Christmas book.
Yeah, that was a rom-com for sure.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Smut Miss is our version of Smutty Christmas. So we read
the month of
smutty
December
Christmas books. Our goal is to find like the perfect rom-com in Christmas themed, but that has actual smut. We don't want closed door Hallmark.
Yes.
We want open door Hallmark.
No, it is whatever is absolutely ridiculous.
We'll do it.
Smutty Christmas themed.
I feel like we'll have an episode about this later.
Oh, we have to.
And we started around what, Thanksgiving? So we've done it for 2 years now. So this will be year 3 of Smut Miss. And everybody has to join. We've got months to plan. I've got a running Goodreads bookshelf.
I collect Christmas books now. I'm like, oh, this sounds good.
I collect Christmas books all year long. So if I see any, I immediately add them to the Smut Miss shelf.
Yeah, and they're like all crazy titles, like eating her Christmas cookies or stuffing her
stuffers.
Yes.
We're really going for the most eccentric and also the sweetest.
Yeah.
But Merry Inkmas was great because again, there's that bell curve of
like
what's happening, and that was
tattoos,
so good.
Christmas,
it's so good.
Exactly what
hot
you want.
guys, hot girls,
yes,
everything.
I think they got abandoned. Anybody abandoned by the snow, where you're stuck. I read one about this is weird, but she's a sex toy salesperson where those parties that you do.
I think I wanted to read that one.
Like everybody's had to go to these. So she runs those toy parties, and she gets stuck at an inn because she gets snowed in.
Just like with all these dildos.
I love that.
Yeah, with all of these sex toys, and she's got this hot guy, and she's like, well, I guess we got to try some of these out.
Merry Christmas.
All right, we are stoked for Smut Miss.
Yeah. I read one that was really cute, and it was a guy and a girl, and they live across the street from each other, and they have like a Christmas decoration off. And they try to outdo each other. And then they both work from home, so they're at home all the time trying to outdo each other with Christmas decorations. It was really cute.
I'm for that.
I'm so happy about that. Now I'm looking forward to Smut Miss.
I know.
I'm so excited.
I know it's going to be fun. And one of us will have to read that Christina Lauren book because I think that there's not really smut, but there might be maybe not full closed door. We have to do it for science. People like that one in the holidays.
I think I bought it, so I guess I got to do that one.
We might have to start Smut Miss early so that we can have good recs for people at the right time.
Yeah, we might have to start it
Smut Miss in July. I mean, we could always do that too.
I'm not upset about that.
I'm not either.
Oh my goodness. All right, I think we're ready to do our game. Yeah. It's going to be a little bit of a guess the quote. We're going to do quotes from movie rom-com. I can't believe we didn't even really talk about movie rom-coms, but I guess
I've seen way more movie rom-coms, so I'm excited.
I mean, book rom-coms are literally like you get the movie, but just like more, like all the more that you want, and then the smut that you want.
Absolutely. If you like movie rom-coms, you will like book rom-coms. You will love all of them.
Actually, and I like book rom-coms just part of it a smidge better because I feel like you get more banter than you get in movies.
Yeah.
So
you just get more. Like that's like my favorite
there's just
part.
more.
And you can do more in a rom-com book of like them texting back and forth throughout the day than feels good to watch in a movie. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes those are fun when they're like sending each other like funny, flirty, bantery texts.
Agreed.
Yeah, so those are really fun. All right, so I have pulled up here from BuzzFeed 36 cutest and heartwarming rom-com quotes ranked. I don't ever trust these rankings, so that means nothing to me. But I'm going to have you guys throw me out a number between 1 and 36, and we're going to pull this up, and you're going to tell me what movie you think this is from. And if it's like super obvious, I'm just going to pick a different number. 16. All right, let's go see what 16 says. Okay. It seems to me that love is everywhere. Often it's not particularly dignified or newsworthy, but it's always there. If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that love actually is all around.
Love Actually.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that last line, but...
I already knew it was Love Actually when you first started.
Okay, well, yes. Very good.
I've read that one, or watched that one way too many
times. I watch that one a lot, and like, I hate it. Yes. And there's something like comforting about watching it. The setting is great, but like also,
but it's not good. No. Like it's bad, people. Yeah. But yeah, I watch it every year, and I don't know why.
Stories like the Alan Rickman one with Emma Thompson.
Oh, the worst.
That just never gets resolved. I hate it. It's like open-ended.
You're like, what happened? She's like, you made a fool of me. I'm like, you did. Like, oh,
how could you?
How could you be mean to
her?
I
hate the Keira Knightley one where like the friend loves her, and then he comes and is like, behind his friend's back, like, I'm just gonna keep loving you, and she's like, that's great.
Right.
Like, what?
Okay, bye.
The cue cards. Okay, guys, the cue cards are iconic. I get it, but it's awful.
I love the cue cards. I hate what happens after.
It's not even objective. Like this is.
If you're gonna do cue cards, do
definitely
it
awful.
to someone who's not married to your best friend.
Yeah.
I just cannot.
Take those cue cards to a stranger.
I still love that movie. You're the fucking love of my life.
Yeah. What's his name? Hugh Grant?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the best one.
They call her fat, and she's not fat in any way.
No, I know. They're like talking the whole time about how fat she is.
We call her chubby?
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah, at least he comes to bat for her. He's like, I don't even know who you're talking. Why would you call her that?
Huge thighs. What are you talking about?
No, she's my favorite. She's got like a sailor mouth, and she's gorgeous.
Spirit animal, yeah.
She's awesome. All right, pick another number.
27.
Okay. I weirdly hope this is 27 dresses, but probably not. I love that one.
That would be funny.
Right. Okay, this one's like too obvious.
26.
Okay, 26. All right. You make me happy, even when you're awful. I would rather be with you. Even the you that you seem to think is diminished than anyone else in the world.
I have no idea what that is.
Me neither.
Okay, it's from Me Before You.
I have not seen that.
Oh.
Absolutely no interest.
I watched that once. It made me cry, and I never watched it again.
Yeah, that's a cry porn book, right?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely
I
cry
don't
porn.
appreciate it.
I don't want that in my life at all. That's the one where he's like paralyzed.
There's a sequel too. There's like multiple books, and I'm like,
and
no.
the sequel gives it away after you. Well, so we know he's not there anymore. Like,
we know what happened.
Sad. I don't have any interest in that at all. So no, but I'll tell you what 27 was. That it was like way too like that just gives it away. There's No One Like You, Cubby.
Oh yeah, to all the boys I loved before.
Oh.
Because it's her name.
I watched that one time and I still won't remember it. Deb would kill me right now.
Okay, wait, this one's a good one. This one I'm just picking for myself. I picked 28 because it was right there. Why me? Because you saw me when I was invisible.
Oh, what is that from? Tell me.
Jess is thinking. Let her think for a second.
I don't know.
We talked about this in a recent podcast episode.
I can like hear it.
Yeah,
The Princess Diaries.
got nothing.
Yes!
Dang
my
it.
God.
I loved that little romance in the first one with her like high school friend.
Oh my God.
I was so disappointed in the second one that he wasn't there, but then also Chris Pine.
But then I did like her love interest a lot in the second one, so I was like, fine.
Oh yeah,
Me too.
like her and Chris Pine are the best.
That's where I discovered Chris Pine
that's
and
who
where
it was,
yeah.
Oh, I have a lot of feelings about
those
Chris
eyeballs.
Pine. All right, let's do another one. Pick another number 1 through 36.
10.
10.
It's pretty far, guys, but it's fine.
Sorry.
This is way too long. I'm not going to.
9.
Okay, I'll see if you guys know this because I don't know this one. Love isn't patient and kind and humble. Love is messy and horrible and selfish and bold. It's not about finding your perfect half. It's the trying and the reaching and failing.
I know this.
I don't know this.
It's not The Notebook, but it feels like The Notebook.
Yeah, there is a Notebook quote on here, but like everyone would know that.
It's like way too obvious.
Yes.
This is from The Half of It. Do you guys know that?
No.
Now I have to look this up. Maybe I don't know it.
Yeah, I think the Notebook quote that's in here is just like, I want you every day, all like it's
All
gonna
the
be
time,
work, that one. Like,
Like, I appreciate what that movie did, but I also, like, really, really hate Nicholas Sparks.
Oh,
now.
I don't like him, but that movie.
Yeah, the movie's
I would
good,
never
but
read
he's the
anything
worst.
that he wrote.
I've read them, and they're all awful.
No, I watched another one of his movies. Well, it's not. I mean, based
Someone
on his
dies
book.
in every one of his movies, and it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yes, I read one, and I didn't read it. I refused to read his books, but I watched one, and it was like they finally, like they were like the one that got away, and then they finally get together, and then like he gets killed, but then her son gets in like a crazy car accident, and then like he like ends up getting his like heart transplant. So then like her son's
I know
alive,
what you're talking about.
like, with her lover's heart transplant after they just finally got together, and like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Who wants to read that? I am sorry. Who wants to read that? Who wants to watch that? That is not a happily ever after at all.
I have read, so one of them, like the ex-husband is like super abusive cop and she can't get away from him or whatever. And then he like drowns in the river at the end because he's in like a brawl with the main guy.
Yes.
And like you think they both died. A Bend in the Road? Is that one? Yeah. And so you think that, they both die and then magically like the guy comes up or whatever. And it's the ex-husband and like
I make
the
it
dad
a
of the
game.
kid
Every
or
time I
whatever.
watch a Nicholas Sparks movie, I try to guess in the beginning who's going to die, and I'm pretty
Wait, so
good
the
at
bad
it.
guy lives, but the good guy dies?
No, the bad guy
it's
dies.
the other way. But I really thought, but they make it seem like they both died, or that the main guy died and the other one lives. And then at the very end, you're like, oh, okay, no, it was just the bad guy. Okay.
Can I tell you, Message in a Bottle? I think that's like 1990s movie, but
No, but I have watched it, and that was a good movie.
I don't really remember it.
He dies in that one, right?
The guy dies
he
in
dies
that
at the
one
end.
sailing, if I'm remembering
Kevin
correctly,
Costner?
he dies sailing across Lake Michigan, which made me fucking laugh
Right.
my ass off. Like, what?
Is it Lake Michigan?
I think he tries to sail across Lake Michigan or something, and I vividly remember that because I was in Chicago at the time by Lake Michigan, and I was like, what?
There's no waves, bro.
What's happening?
That's so random.
And then there's another one where a guy dies in a landslide, and I'm trying to remember what movie it is.
Okay. Nicholas Sparks, someone dies every time in some horrific way, usually.
All right, I have 2 last quotes for us. One is just going to be an obvious one that I have to say because it's so good. And then the last one
Gotcha.
may or may not be obvious. So the obvious one, you have bewitched me, body and soul, and I love you. I never wish to be parted from you from this day on.
Mr. Darcy. That's the best Pride and Prejudice movie. You can fight me on it.
I've seen that so many times that I start it in the middle now. That I don't even need the beginning. I just watch the ending of it.
The first time I watched that was like in high school because it came out in 2005. We had it, and I was just like so in love and like shocked by like how beautiful it was that I watched it.
Yes.
Like I think I had like a long weekend, and I just watched it like 7 times. I just as soon as it was over, I was like, and another one. And another
again.
one. And I don't do that.
I can hear the music. You know when she like runs out onto the cliff and it does that panning shot of her coming up? I can hear the music in my head.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I can too.
The hand flex. How has the hand flex ever been that
my
hot?
God.
How is that the moment that everybody's just like, did we all just lose our minds because he moved his
flexed his
hand a little
hand?
bit? Like, how is it the sexiest thing I have
Ever
seen? And it's just because he touched her and then he had to like grip his hand from touching her. And you're just like,
even thinking about it.
written by a woman moment if I've ever
He
seen one.
is the best.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Darcy, it just is.
So good.
And I bought the soundtrack on like a CD. I have it. I think we posted that on one of our socials. But
I used to listen to it studying.
I would like take a bath, like light candles and listen to the Pride and Prejudice soundtrack.
I am Elizabeth.
Yes.
I love it.
All right, here's our last quote. And I think this is a good one that like if you know it, you know it, but it's not like gigantically obvious. hopefully. All right, this one says, I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. You didn't let me finish it.
Sorry.
Yes, it is. When Harry Met Sally.
It's the only time that I can find Billy Crystal cute. I was like, wait, why is he the main guy in this?
A classic.
With Meg Ryan.
It's a weird pairing, but it works.
I have to say that You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle are two of my favorite rom-coms. My favorite movies of all time. And I can verbatim quote the entire movie. I've seen them so much.
I was watching You've Got Mail yesterday.
I loved that movie.
I was like, oh,
I remember when I watched Sleepless in Seattle, which, a million years ago, I was underwhelmed. So I never watched it again. But people love that. So I'm I feel like I need to rewatch it. But I feel like they're not together the whole movie till the very end, right?
Yeah, not till the end.
Yeah, I think that was the part I didn't like.
They don't have a lot of in-person interactions. It's all
through other people.
Through their kid and through the radio and through whatever. Yeah, notes and stuff.
Okay, wait, I have one more quote. Since Harry Met Sally got an instant response. All right. I'm done being scared. I'm done living in a world where I don't get to be who I am. I deserve a great love story.
I don't know.
This is Love, Simon.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I wanted
Me either,
to.
but I feel that's so perfect because it's a bookish one as well.
Yeah,
it is a bookish
Actually,
one.
so
I feel like I need to see that now.
I own that book and I've wanted to watch it.
They, where do you think they get the fuel for our brains? It's from books.
True. Yeah, have any of you read Love, Simon?
No, I have the book and I wanted to read it and I haven't.
The movie looks
and
so
I didn't
cute.
watch the movie because I wanted to read the book and then I just never did. Shocking.
Story of my life.
Seriously, same. All right, well, if anyone wants to go read more quotes, you can just pop on this BuzzFeed article. But
yes.
That's our game. And then I guess just follow us on all the things.
That's
right?
it. Yeah, follow us at Emo Girls Guide on all the stuff. And may your day be blessed with main character energy.
Yes, main character energy.
Character energy.
Yeah.